friends, it's Mari here with episode number 17 of Tried, Trendy, and True. Today I'm going to be focusing on using my Gina K Master layout sets to create my 12 by 12 scrapbooking layout. I'm also going to be taking inspiration from a page map sketch, and you can see that the summer 2022 edition of Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine has a ton of inspiration using sketches, and the sketch that I am going to use is a July 2022 page map sketch. It's the one that I'm pointing at there in that lower left-hand corner, and I'm going to use that as a starting point for my layout today. Now, these are Master Layouts 5 and 8. I love Gina K Design's Master Layout dies. They are perfect for card making, but you can use these for scrapbooking or really any of your paper crafting DIY projects, mini albums, whatever. They're perfect for cutting beautiful pieces of paper that might be stitched or in a specific shape, whatever you'd like. I'm taking the barcode off of this piece of Heidi Swap Sun Chaser paper. I don't actually end up using that specific paper, but that was kind of where I was starting. And I'm also going to be using a couple of papers from the Vicki Boutin Sweet Rush paper pad, the 8x6 paper pad. And I'm going to start my die cutting process here with the Master Layouts 8 set. I'm going to be using one of the rectangles that's in this set to die cut out that really beautiful royal blue colored paper with that grid pattern on it. And this is about 5 by 7, this die here, and I'm going to be just putting that through my electronic die cutting machine here and getting just the most perfect rectangle, obviously, for a piece for this sketch and the layout. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of low tack tape. I'm going to tape my die in place and run that through my die cutting machine. And when I'm all finished with that, I will be using that really pretty blue paper as a layer over top of that gorgeous rainbow colored paper below it. So you can just see how I'm already starting to formulate the layers and the mats for this layout that are part of that sketch or indicated in that sketch. I also need another rectangular shape, and I'm going to use Master Layouts 5 to create that white piece of cardstock, that rectangle there. Now that one is actually stitched, which is also very cool, and I cut that from some Basil Avalanche cardstock. I'm going to use a rectangle from Master Layouts 8 as well to die cut out this paper with a script on it, which is a really nice dark blue color with the white lettering on it. Really nice for a pattern that's going to contrast with the other papers that I have chosen. It just pairs nicely with those other patterns. And so I'm just going to tape that down and die cut that as well. I've also cut a couple of circle shapes again from my master layout set. This is from Master Layouts 5. I've cut two of those circles, one from that royal blue paper again, and then one just from white. The smaller circle is cut from another grid paper from Vicki Boutin. Now I have switched out my patterned paper here to another paper from Sun Chaser from Heidi Swap. It's just matches up with the colors I'm using a little bit better and is a little bit lighter. I just love the color palette of that paper. And now what I'm doing is I have marked the center of my paper from side to side, and my 12 by 12 paper that is, and I'm just centering that patterned paper on it. And now I'm just using my ruler to make sure that the patterned paper is straight, the smaller pattern paper on top of that 12 by 12 paper. Now I'm going to use a little bit of craft foam on the back of my blue paper, and I'm going to pop up the corners of this white rectangle so that now I have some dimension forming on my layout as well. I'm using my T-square ruler to help me make sure that everything is straight. This is actually going to be a really linear layout, so I want to make sure everything is nice and straight. And you can see the blue paper and the white paper at this point are added with some foam adhesive so that we've got some nice dimension going on there. Now these two rectangles, which I've cut from that script paper using the same die, I am going to use as kind of a linear horizontal line behind all of the pattern papers that I have over top of that 12 by 12 paper so far. So you can just see that that's going to create a nice line, a horizontal line through the back of those smaller patterned papers that I have. So here you can just see already that I've used many of the dies in those master layout sets to create the different dimensional rectangles that I wanted, and some of them have stitching on them, and it's just fun. It's fun to use those shape dies to help you create your layout. Now I'm using my T-square ruler just to help me create the line across with those darker papers there, the text paper, so that I make sure that I get those nice and straight. So I put a pencil mark over on the right side there to make sure that I can get this piece on there straight. And I have fishtailed the end or created a banner end with that paper just to give it a little bit of interest and detail on the end of that paper in that way. So I'm just going to make sure that that's in place. I've just used my Gina K tape runner to attach those to my paper. And now I'm just using my T-square ruler to make sure that my white paper rectangle that's on there is straight as well. Again, a T-square ruler is your friend when you're scrapbooking a linear layout. It's just really important to make sure that you get everything as straight as you possibly can. This is the adorable photo that I am going to be working with today. It is my son's corgi puppy. She is absolutely adorable. I've printed this photo at 4x6, and I am going to map that again on a piece of avalanche basil white cardstock. And I'm just kind of trying to eyeball now where I want to place that on the layout. I do have the sketch over to the side so that I can refer to it periodically. I really love this Just Chillin' ephemera piece from the Sweet Rush collection. I love that it also has that banner tail on it, which goes nicely with the one that I cut from that text paper. Love the Just Chillin' title there. I think it's adorable. It really works well with this picture of this sweet pup. Now these two circular pieces here, I'm just going to bring into the layout at this point and get an idea of where I want to put these this element on my layout here. So you're just going to see me starting to sort that out and get things placed onto my project. I want to, at this point, attach my photo to the photo mat. I'm going to do that with a little bit of craft foam again. I'll use my ATG gun on the back of the craft foam to attach that to the white mat and get that in place. And I actually end up lining this up off camera because I know that I got my head in the camera here when I was trying to line this up, but it's pretty simple to do. The shapes of the photo and the photo mat are obviously the same, so it's not difficult to do. And the photo mat was cut just slightly larger, 1/4 of an inch or so larger than the photo, so pretty easy to line those up. So now I'm just kind of trying to sort out where I want this photo to go. I wanted to make sure that I left some of that blue paper sticking out below the photo, and just making sure that I didn't cover up all of that text paper, obviously, on the right, I should say. And now I'm just going to layer this Just Chillin' piece over top of the bottom of the photo. I'm using a little bit of foam adhesive on that Just Chillin' piece as well to pop that up so that it's slightly more dimensional than the photograph on the layout. I love how that looks. I think it's super cute. I'm going to add some foam adhesive to the back of the smaller circle and layer that onto the larger circle. So you just see a small bit of a frame in that really pretty blue color. And the smaller circle has the stitched detailing on it, which I love so much. I've grabbed a sticker from the Sweet Rush collection cardstock sticker sheets. This says Fave Photo, which is really adorable. I love that that's in the same tone of color, or the same dark ink, I should say, as that text paper, so that it just brings in a little bit more of the dark color. I think it might be black or navy. I'm not 100% sure, but I just like that it is dark and brings again in more of the darker tones. It just pops off of that circle really nicely when it is in the dark color. So I'm just going to layer that onto the circle with a foam adhesive as well. Now I'm going to start working on a few more little clusters. You can see that I've added a couple of clouds, or I'm going to add those clouds to the top of the project. And I'm going to add some florals to that Just Chillin' area. I'm going to add a little chipboard heart on that banner piece, and this sweet little floral is going to go on that corner as well. Again, popping that up with a little bit of foam adhesive just to add that dimension and allow for that layering detail. And I love how that is coming together. Now those clouds are perfect. They're from the Sweet Rush ephemera pack, and believe it or not, the sketch that I'm using actually had clouds in that same spot. So I just thought that was serendipitous. It was meant to be for sure. And so I love how those clouds just look perfect up there, especially on that cloudy portion of the paper. I'm using a little bit of a palm frond behind the floral, and I've added another larger flower to the floral area over there as well. I've popped the clouds up on some foam adhesive to give them some dimension also, and you can see how they just finish up that top area of the layout so perfectly. I love how that looks. I love the page map sketches. They are so fantastic. If you're ever stuck for inspiration, that is a really great place to check. And I love how Scrapbook on Cards Today magazine always has great inspiration using those sketches. Now I fussy cut one of these butterflies from, again, the Sweet Rush Collection 8x6 paper pad. And this little pup loves to chase butterflies, and that's part of what I'm journaling about. So I had to add this sweet little butterfly, which totally matches the papers that I've used. And so I'm going to pop that up on a little bit of foam adhesive here and add that just to the left of my photograph. I'm just going to use my fingers to bend up the butterfly wings there a little bit. Now I have typed out my journaling now and cut those into strips just on some white cardstock. I'm going to use my little trimmer here just to trim off the excess paper to finish off my strips, and then they will be all ready to add to my project to finish it off with just some really sweet journaling about this sweet little pup who came with us on a recent trip up to the lake, and she was just so good. She loved to just dig in the dirt and she was eating leaves and digging for bugs, and I don't know, she was just such a pleasure to have along, and she was very well behaved, and we really enjoyed having her. So I'm going to finish up these journaling strips, and I'll add those with my Gina K tape runner to my project. I always like using some tweezers to help me get these into place, and I like to make sure that that first piece is straight for sure, and then I use that as my reference point for lining up the rest of the strips, and that will finish it off. Friends, I enjoyed creating this for you today. I hope it inspires you to get out your dies that you might use for other types of projects and use those dies for scrapbooking. It really is a great way to use your dies for multi-purpose rather than just using them for one thing. You can use them for lots of different processes and projects that you might be working on, which I absolutely love doing, and really enjoyed creating this layout for you today using those dies. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of Tried, Trendy, and True, things that you love to do in your scrapbooking or card making, things that you find are true processes or ways of doing things, if you find that there are trends that you absolutely love in the industry and would like me to talk about those in this Tried, Trendy, and True series, make sure that you let me know in the comment section, and I will definitely read those comments and check them out and consider those for future projects. I love how this turned out, and I love the Gina K master layouts. They are absolutely awesome. Thanks so much for joining me today, friends. Stay well, take care, and I'll see you again.